What's going on, everyone? I am working on a pretty unique engine today. It is a 4G61T out of a 89 Mirage turbo. 1 year only car from what I was told, and it's a pretty rare engine because most of the time people swap these out for their bigger brother, the 4G63, the 2-liter. This is a 1.6, and there are some unique things about it. It does have factory balance shaft deletes, and it should have straight cut oil pump gears. Yeah, so we'll go through it, and we'll take you around the engine, kind of get you a couple good shots of it, and start tearing this thing down. So first thing I want to do is actually inspect the oil filter, and if that's original to this engine or not, we will find out. So the oil actually doesn't look that bad. Let me get this in a better spot here so it doesn't fall over. All right, let's cut this thing open, see what we got. All right, over here. I mean, there's some chunkage going on. You can tell the oil filter was plugged because it was kind of getting crushed by the oil pressure. There is a good amount of bearing material in here, so engine sludge. See if you guys can get a good view of that. So, a bit spoogey. So we'll see what we got. Ultimately, my goal would be to rebuild this engine and put it in the Fiat. So let's start tearing the head off and work our way down. Evo. This engine did come with a valve cover. I'll insert a photo of what that looked like. It was cracked really bad, and I don't think there's any saving it. So I do have it still, but I'll have to see if I can maybe TIG weld it. It's got a huge crack. All right. Sometimes these are a little bit on there, so you have to wiggle them free. Not the greatest head oiling. Okay. Velcro specials. These are gonna be a little bit fun. So there we go. So much RTV was used on these. Yeah, don't do this. Okay. This side's not nearly as, but the white seals are an indication that it's Felpro. All right, so next is gonna be the rocker arms and lifters. So we're gonna grab the lifters and rocker arms out. So these are early style small bore lifters. As the years went on, these got changed out to larger 3rd revision or 3G lifters. All right, I got a second bag for the lifters. They're actually pulling out of the head quite nice. A little spin. Boom. All right, so I think next order of business is removing the turbocharger. So that involves 12s and 14s and a 17 to remove the cylinder head oil feed. I'm not happy threads. There we go. Dang. Jesus, all right. Evo. This one's on there pretty good. There we go. Bend that out of the way just a little bit. There we go. That one feels like a 12 almost. It looks like a 12 back there. You gotta love the mismatched hardware on these cars. Whoop. Evo. Yeah, okay. Okay. able to just grab this, and it should just sort of come apart like this. There we go. All right, so we got this little guy out here. Let me get the last three. I believe that is 810. So I'll check out what this thing, I think it's a 13G. It's so small. It sounds pretty rough. It sounds like the compressor wheels contacting the housing. But that'd be something cool to pursue. Wow, such a small housing. Crazy. Allen, bit of a weird contraption here, but it'll work. Interesting. All right, we are going to pop the head off now. Just give it a good little yoink here. Let me get up on this stand. Sometimes they need a little bit of persuasion. I like to take like a soft thing here, kind of just work it up. Composite gasket's a little sticky. There we go. All right, let's take a look at this head. Interesting. It's got two mismatched valves. Yeah, so you could see, so what I was explaining earlier is the cylinder heads get poor oiling because this teardrop isn't deep enough sometimes. So that's just something to take note of. Another thing is, apparently the 1.6 liter heads have a tighter combustion chamber than the standard 4G heads. So this is a 43cc cylinder head as opposed to a 47. I'll have to confirm that information, but I believe that is accurate. Cool. This engine here, this bottom end, let me grab a flashlight. All right, got the flashlight. Take a look at some of these cylinders and pistons here. Some of them are they all do. It's very faint, the lettering on the pistons. Let me rotate it over a little bit and see what the other cylinders look like. All right. Not bad. I mean, it seems like it got hot, like it ran warm, but okay, cool. Well, now on to taking off some accessory bits and continue stripping this thing down. All right, guys, sorry about that. My phone died. I didn't get video of just removing the timing side mount and the AC compressor mount. So do apologize about that, but we'll get the oil pan off and we'll start getting the front cover off. I'm gonna drain the oil, make sure that it's 100% empty, although it already spooged itself all over my garage floor when I inquired it a couple weeks ago. So let's see what we got. Crazy. Let's get this out of here. See if we get any grossness that comes out. A little bit, not too much. Got a interesting set of oil pan bolts. I don't know how they did it on the Mirages, but the DSMs didn't have Phillips headed bolts like this. This oil pan's pretty beat up, so I'm just gonna find a good entry point. Of course, you know when you got an oil leak, just fucking smear it with RTV. That's what works. Okay, so the the oil pickup, yeah, the oil pickup was definitely kissing the bottom of the pan. Okay, a bunch of carbon buildup. This thing was very poorly maintained. Whew. All right, so we'll pull the oil pickup off. So cool. So what's unique about this engine, I think I mentioned it earlier, is that it's a factory balance shaft eliminated engine. So if you notice, it doesn't have the larger gear that would drive this front shaft. So it's pretty unique. There should be straight cut oil pump gears in there, which is awesome. I actually do like how all the RTV pretty much came off the block, so that's pretty nice. It is oily, but it's shiny. Tons of carbon buildup. Spin this thing, see how it spins. I mean, the side clearances sound normal. These ones are a little looser, but doesn't spins nicely. I mean, for, you know, whatever mileage this thing has, I mean, it's pretty decent. Looks like it's been poorly maintained. I mean, the oil pickup's all dented in, so probably had oil starvation problems. To the scrap. It does look like this engine's been rebuilt. A lot of the gaskets aren't OEM, so I really do hope there is a front straight cut gears in there. So I'm gonna yoink that thing off, get all the gears off, and I'll catch you up in just a moment. That one came off real nice. So what's pretty unique about the, like I think I was saying earlier, what's unique about this whole thing is that there's no gear here. There's just a spacer. So that's super sick. Looks like it's unidirectional. How cool is that? All right. You can give it a good light tap. Obviously don't go too hard, knock the whole front case off the engine. You'll hear the tone change though. You'll hear it go from solid to more of a hollow noise, definitely. You hear that? All right, let's do another nut bolt check. Clear. I should be able to just walk this off. Okay. Cool. Let's put the bolts back in real quick. So check this out. This is super cool. So it's got a freeze plug, pretty much, or a core plug, essentially in there. Assuming it's like that for the rear, or the rear just physically doesn't have a hole. So I'll know. Get a light real quick and see. Don't think I'll be able to fit my hand all the way in there and feel. It just must not be machined for it. Huh. So we got this feed, which is plugged. And then I don't know, 1, 2, and then there should be a small little hole in between those. So I'm looking down the main oil galley right now, and to be honest with you, yeah, so those are the threads, 1, 2, I don't think the rear hole has been drilled. So, how cool. All right. Let's put these bolts back in. So let's get my hands off here. Let's open up this housing. Bingo! Look at that. How cool. And because I lined it up one tooth wrong. But this is a factory balance shaft deleted engine. So essentially what this means is you know, when all the DSM guys, they get this plug, and this stub shaft comes from this engine. So it's really cool to see. Definitely salvageable on the pump, especially with it being a early housing and it being straight cut gears. That's super cool. I guess now my main thing is I just want to check the bearings, the mains, and the rods. Kind of see how those look. I'm not gonna tighten this up. I'm just gonna snug them down just so that I have a reference. Okay. Let us take a look at number 1 here. So the bearing didn't stick. We may have caught this in time. Usually, when number 1 goes, the rest is junk. Crank could use a nice polish for sure. All right, all these parts are gonna be acid washed and deep cleaned, so. This engine has sat on its side for like who knows how many years. So don't mind the excess amount of piston, or sorry, oil. Whoop. No, let's not do that. Since we're here, we'll just do the rear one. Whoop, the bearing fell down on that one. There we go. Quite interesting. I mean, it seems like it was rebuilt not too long ago, maybe. Crazy, the rings move really nicely. The oil control ring's a little tight, but cylinders 2 and 3. pretty salvageable, rebuildable. Unlike the crank out, of course, but let's take a look at number 3. They all have about the same wear. They're all just pitted and like contaminated. Alright. Oh, this one's got a bunch of oil in it. I mean, this crank spins pretty damn nice. Alright. Let me clean up a little bit and I'll come back. Alright. Now that the pistons are all out, we're gonna break the mains loose. Only got a couple % left on my phone, so I'm trying to just be a little quick here. There we go. All right. The mains suffered a little bit more damage. Let's look at the rear. Yeah, it's just poor oiling, like, that's all. The thrust bearing was starting to go a little. All right, let's lift this puppy out. Let's set it down here. So there we have it. Just poor oil quality, lack of oil changes. So the general consensus, I guess, check piston and cylinder wall clearance, check the main oil clearances as they sit right now, order up bearings, piston rings, acid wash the block, prep it, get it all ready for refresh, and put it back in service. So that's that, I think. So there you have it, fully torn down 4G61. Looks like we'll be able to salvage a lot of the parts out of it and probably rebuild it. So stay tuned for that video.